And a good morning. Welcome to the stream. And we are flying the GA again today. This is P3D, not X-Plane. And we're on the mission of my big dream of flying to all my Orbx airports. And we started in San Diego and we're going to end up in Juneau, 5,035 nautical miles. And I think I said 52 flight legs. So this is going to be one of the boring ones, guys, unfortunately. So you're welcome to come and go as you please. I'm also not going to sit here the whole time, but unless we get good conversation. But it's going to be from Sedona Airport on to Eagle County, which is in the mountains. We are going to press the little 182 and its capabilities a little bit today. We're going to have to go at some point in time to at least 14,500 to cross the mountains, or we're going to have to fly around it, whichever comes first. So that's our challenge, apart from the boringness. And you are most welcome to stick around, have a nice chat with me, and enjoy the ride. As part of this tour, I thought I'd just show you guys a little bit of the scenery. I've been walking around here. It's very well done. This airport is like an aircraft carrier. It's on a hilltop. It looks like it's been artificially flattened. I'm not sure. I don't know the area really, but you go down whichever way you look, you'll go. If you don't stop in time, you're going to go downhill into a valley or some other abyss. Anyway, very well done. All big scenery, always very good to look at. I get super good frames on the airports at this point in time after my PC upgrade as well. I like the people flow, the nature flow, and all these other things that come with that. We parked a bit far, but that's also giving us an opportunity to maybe just look around a little bit. Good morning, Paul. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Ooh, sexy lady. Somebody's sunbathing over there. That's probably the mother walking around in circles guarding the daughter. But anyway, it's a joke. Let's continue. Paul, I hope you are doing well. And other guests on the stream, I hope you guys are doing well and having a super weekend. Huh. This is a beautiful area to fly in. I think I must actually just go up a little bit, show you guys a bird's eye view of what I'm talking about. So we're on top of this hill and we've got all these other hills around us. It makes for some interesting flying because we've got to keep a watch out for them the whole time. Lovely area in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Right, so speaking of that, let's get some perspective of what we're doing and what the aim of today is. Just want to start a little nav map for us quickly. Come on. Is that not it? No, it is. It's just taking its time. Right, so that is the actual flight plan. We're down here at the bottom and we're going to follow our air routes, VORs and everything up to into the mountains. Now, like I said, if that becomes a challenge for us, if we get to those areas and we are struggling to actually get over the mountains with the 182, we're probably going to have to just fly around them because that doesn't look that high on that side. I don't know. Fortunately, it's a sim. We'll put enough fuel and we'll land somewhere if we need to refuel or do something. Good morning, John. Are you with us? Right, okay. Well, that takes care of that. Let's go to our little aircraft. The wind is 009 at 5, I think it was. Yeah, that's almost winds calm basically. I haven't flown this aircraft in 2 weeks, so we're going to go through all the normal rituals, checking everything, fixing what we need to fix, making sure that it's airworthy and that it's not going to kill us, on the way. I had a quick walk around, that seems to be fine, so I'm not too worried about that, but we'll have to check the oil in the engines and all the other stories. Good morning, John, you there? Ah! Oh, okay, alright, just don't kill yourself. That's all I'm asking. Okay, cool. 100%. Alright, so we've got the cold and dark situation. We're going to get rid of all these other goodies and thingies. Let's empty our plane, make it look better. Control lock. Come on, go away. Sorry about that. Thank you, Paul. It's just John here with me, so I've just enabled his voice on stream as well. I usually keep it off because you don't know who pops in. Apologies for that. He is on. Paul B is with us, John, on stream.
Good morning, Paul, and apologies for that. I got myself into a bit of a tizzy, but we're sorting it out, and good morning to everybody.
Right, so let's see. We need about 4 hours fuel at least. So I'm gonna go to about 65%. Make sure that we've got enough reserves. Oops, the mini. That gives us 4 hours and 42 minutes. Right. I'm hoping for good luck with the winds. I was checking windy this morning. It seems that the winds are blowing in a westerly direction, so we should have it semi from behind. Should give us a bit of a push. Right, so that takes care of all those little things. And let's have a look in the hangar. Let's see if this thing is airworthy. Great shape. Alright, so there's no errors that we can see. We'll let it idle for a minute or two and burn off the carbon. Check all our controls and the trim wheel. There we go. There's our trim wheel kicking in. Alright, because we're a bit loaded at the back, we're going to use trim down. Then beacon and nav. Let's check our fuel pump. Prime it a little bit. Alright. There we go. Nothing a bit of DLC cannot fix for us. Yes, Paul. Yeah, that was me. I saw your request and I quickly attended to that. You're more than welcome. I did not realize that you were not a part of the group, so apologies for that. I just assume everybody who comes to the stream are already part of the crew, you know. So apologies for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Right, we need to make sure that this engine warms up a little bit before we go anywhere. Let's see if we've actually got a flight plan already. Otherwise, we're going to have to quickly make one and, well, export it and import it. So let's see. I hope you find the Zibo group interesting, by the way, Paul. I hope it's got some value for you.
System test okay.
Mr. Campbell. Well, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. As long as you guys have something to enjoy, something that will help you come back again, I am very happy. So after powers, we've got a problem. Right, so I needed that one. From powers, it's going to require a bit of engineering, it seems. I'm going to just make this a bit smaller so you can semi-follow what I'm doing. So that's powers over there. Right, then we need to insert before that, which will be HPU. Blue Mesa. Sounds right. So, yes, please. There we go, that is our flight plan. Yeah, Paul, the guys are generally a bunch of good guys. We've even got some of the Zibo developers in the group with us over there. Some of my friends are there. but they have a low key. I'm usually the big mouth, you know. I do the talking and the interfacing and all the tellings. The C++ thing comes in because of this. Previously and from the beginning, the Zibo mod was a bunch of ex-Lua scripts. Zibo wrote most of that aircraft in Notepad on his laptop or his PC. Believe it or not, he did not use PlaneMaker or anything. He just used Notepad. Kudos to him. Twixtor is the one that basically uses the airplane maker to do the airfoils and the flight model and things like that. But what started to happen is the thing became top heavy. Those scripts became thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of lines of code, top heavy. And issues started to happen, and Zibo made the call to move over to C++. And funny enough, a lot of guys apparently don't have the relevant C++ redistributable libraries in their systems. And it's funny how they kick against the suggestion to just go and load those redistributables. I'm sure you've seen that. And one by one they come back after they've loaded and say, oh yeah, now it works. And it's supposed to work because the aircraft is now almost fully complete in C++. There's still a way to go, but it's almost done. And then you're not going to be able to use it without the C++. Right, so this is our preview. Let's get going. Let's get our map. Right, we're going to take off from runway 03. I love this GTN 750. It's an awesome piece of equipment. I did not use it for a long time, and all of a sudden I use it a lot, and it's really cool. Right, so the engine seems to be running smoothly. It's nice and warm now, so let's start our taxi. Now I mustn't confuse my key bindings with my X-plane key bindings. Switching between the two sims is proving to be quite confusing sometimes. Well, if you can master C++, then all you need is practice when it comes to flying X-plane or any other simulator for that matter. All you need is somebody to show you, if that's how you learn. I learn the best that way, if somebody shows me, you know, mentors me, and then read a lot, study a lot, and then it'll be easy. The big challenge, I think, might be your time, because it's very time consuming. You don't just get in and know everything. You've got to practice, you know, take time. I for one, just to finish that story, I for one, if you tell me to code C++ today, will die. I haven't got a cookie clue how that works. Paul, if you are on the base 3.0, you are actually missing quite a lot. A lot of work has been done on realism, engines, flight the LNAV, nav story. If you read the changelog in the README, you'll see exactly the major changelog. Zibo doesn't record every single keystroke. It doesn't give you 5 pages of things he changed, but he gives you the highlights. So it's highly, highly, highly recommendable to get 3.8, which is the current latest fix. So you just drop it, extract it inside of your 3.0 folder, and then you'll see when you fly it. If you pay careful attention and you remember the logs, some of the stuff is quite visible what it changes. You don't need to do anything, Paul. You just take 3.8 and you throw it right into the 3.0. Just be careful with your folder structure that you have the same folder structure, because you obviously need to overwrite the old files. That's the whole point of a fix. So just be careful with that. And there we are, airborne. I'm actually going to turn out to the left. I think I've got more room to maneuver on the left than on the right. I don't want to turn too steep. I'm gonna have to make a plan quick. Don't do this in real life, guys. This is not how you leave the airport, but I'm not gonna cry about the sim right now. Oh, it's very nice. I love this area. This is a gorgeous place to fly. See, there's the aircraft carrier effect I was talking about. If you don't stop in time, doesn't matter which side you land on. If you don't stop in time, you're going down that hill. Both sides. You mean in real world? Have you been there in real world? Because I would die to get a chance to go see this place. I mean, this is like bucket list stuff for me. Wow. And there's the Rottweilers going crazy again.
Yes, sir. I'm just recovering. Hopefully, to lock onto the ILS.
Excellent, excellent. I love what Orbx did in this area. It really is a masterpiece. Yeah, Paul, these little doggies would give anything to be real Rottweilers. I tell you, they think they are, the way they operate. So they're so cute, so small, but with big voices. And yes, it's a huge country. I mean, this flight, I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to be. Not sure what it will tell us. Let's have a look. See if we go to actual flight plan. See if it gives us any indication. Well, there's 396 nautical miles left. So I suppose when we get to the cruise altitude, the initial altitude will be 10.5. Then we can start doing some mathematics to work out the ETA. But we're talking a good 2 and a bit hours at least flight here, if not longer. I'm hoping for a bit of a push from behind from the wind as well. Oh, great, great, great. Awesome. Oops, we had the heater on a little bit too long. Hello, Morris. Good morning. Good morning. Guys, if you want to join us on Discord, you're welcome. Eh? Just get your push to talk button set up and then you should be fine. Just muting my mic quick.
The Rottweiler wants to kill somebody by the sound of it.
Yeah, can you imagine? John, if you know how small these puppies are, you will be surprised. It's little toy bombs. I mean, they almost fit almost, just bigger than a shoe. I think they're slightly bigger, but you get the idea. They're small little lap dogs.
Yeah, but if they caught you, I'll tell you what, you'd know it.
Oh, yeah. Right, so that's 10.5 for us. So we'll continue on this altitude for a wee while. And then we'll see what happens when we get to those other big mountains. Okay, just one or two other things. I'm not obviously flying real time because it's now middle of the night or something in that area, but I am using real world weather. So unless there's a problem with the weather later on, we'll just keep it as is. If the weather changes to heavy IFR IMC, then I'll make a plan to just change it. I don't want to necessarily stop the flight just because of that. And after last night with the Zebo and that stream, I'm not going to take chances with a little dinky toy like this. Marius, you're welcome. We can translate if we have to, if somebody wants to follow us, but go for it in Afrikaans if you don't want to speak English, it's fine. Paul, yes, we had. It was an entertainment flight like none other. You must go check that out, and then you will realize, that we don't need a jinx to fall out of the sky. We actually lost the bird, I think, just past 30,000 foot. I strongly believe, because there was strong evidence that we went through a patch of wind shear that just rocked us out of the sky. Somebody made a comment on the video and said, no, it wasn't. It's something else. But it was entertaining. So please do yourself a favor at some point in time and go watch the video. It's short. I mean, I did the setup. We took off. We went into that hell of a storm. The visuals were stunning. The Zebo kept the course. It was absolutely beautiful until we hit that rough weather patch. When we went into that red area and we hit that, what I believe to be wind shear, we just fell out of the sky. Good morning, Yoki. Marius, nee, jy moet gaan vir Intel. Ek het al so 1 of 2 of 3 keer al my vingers verbrand met die AMD goeders. Ek sal dit nie aanbeveel nie hoor. Glad nie. Ek raai jou aan om eerder te bly by Intel. Guys, I hope the map works. I'm not sure. Obviously, I don't see it on full screen or even semi-full screen like you guys see it. But I hope you can follow the aircraft here at the bottom. And then we're going to go up. I'm going to try leave it on the screen. If it is a problem, please report it and I'll remove it. Maar is dieselfde gaan met die VGA kaarte, bly by Nvidia. Ek is nie seker wat gaan gebeur nou met Vulcan en Metal se upgrade op X-Plane nie, maar op hierdie stadium is daar niks wat by Nvidia kom en by Intel kom nie. Well, Paul, if you give me a little bit of an explanation what you mean, you know, that I can just fully understand what you're asking, I can tell you many stories. I'm obviously the moderator for the Zibo group. I also moderate the Discord channel and I do quite a few other things with the team members behind the scenes. So I obviously see most of the support. I handle a lot of the support myself. There's 1,000 answers I can give you, and as we are sitting here in a very boring flight, I don't mind telling you all of them. You might get bored listening to them, so go for it. If you can give me a little hint as to, you know, more precisely what you mean, I can tell you. Connect to international arrivals or FBO. What did I miss? Where do you see that? I obviously have got absolutely no cooking clue where you're talking about that. If it's written on my screen somewhere, then I obviously haven't seen it. Apologies, I'm at a total loss with that one. Oh, got it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right, you are live on air. Welcome. Hope you can hear me.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I can hear you.
Right, cool. Your mic's a bit soft. I don't know if you can bring it a bit closer or just boost it a little bit. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry, I don't know your first name.
My first name is James.
James. Welcome, James. Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Nico.
It's a pleasure. And we've got John in the channel here with us. He's the guy called Wings.
And he's just switched off because he's landed.
Okay.
I've listened to John many times.
I'm just about to have a look now, Nico.
Right. I don't know why my mic just muted there for some reason. Probably pressed the keyboard, sorry. Yeah, I was asking your score, so okay. Now the guys on stream also heard that. John, you're transmitting.
I don't know why.
Whether it stopped.
For some unknown reason, I can't open my browser. So I'm going to reboot the machine. I'll be with you back shortly.
Okay. Well, if my simple maths are semi-reliable, it should take about 3 hours to complete this flight, roughly. Guys, if you cannot stay the whole time, I will understand. You're welcome to come and go to suit your needs. This is really just a dream of mine to do this whole tour from south to north up the US coast. So I do understand, but also you are anytime welcome, to stay online with me. So James, you say you sound like a programmer. Are you a programmer by trade?
I don't program at the moment, but yes, I have computer science.
Oh, okay, okay.
I just really love aviation. Being a pilot isn't that fun.
Okay, got it. Paul, I do agree with you. The Zebo is actually a very simple aircraft to install and to get going, but people are lazy to read the instructions. They don't read the instructions. Some people unfortunately read it, but they don't understand what to do with it. I don't mind helping those guys, and then people obviously like to mess around, and I don't like it when people mess around, but we try and help them as well. But you're right, the Zebo is actually straightforward. There's nothing too drastically terrible with it. James, can you maybe just boost your mic a little bit again when you come back? Paul says you're a bit quiet for him. Don't know if you heard me there, James, but just boost your mic a little bit. Again.
Okay, I'm gonna try to boost it up a little bit more.
Thank you. Hello, Ryan. Welcome back, John.
Thank you. Ah, you're not on Twitch.
I'm on YouTube. Because I want to save the flights. I want to save this tour, not like the last one that I couldn't save. I'm doing the whole tour on YouTube, John. No, it's still the same on our side, eh? In your Windows sound control panel, did you switch off the facility where it halves or cuts your audio volume on your mic? Under a tab called communications, there's a option to set it to do nothing. If you can just check that one.
I'm using the mobile Discord.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to quickly try and boost you on this side. Okay. Right, try again.
Okay, how's that sound?
Much better. Much better. Paul, just keep an ear out. Listen to James and tell us if it sounds better. For me, it sounds much better.
That's my result, Nico.
Where did you post it?
In chat.
Okay, let me go there. Which chat, John?
It's obviously not going in. I'm trying to put it in the chat that with you guys.
Oh yeah. Put it on the stream, yeah.
But it's not accepting it for some unknown reason.
Well, you can't put a screenshot in there. You can put a link to a screenshot in there.
No. What I've done is copied the text.
Oh.
And obviously it doesn't accept that for some reason or other.
Well, I'm not getting an error this side. Pop it into Discord. I'll transfer it if I have to. Or can. Pop it in the Skymatics chat. Ooh, visibility is now dropping a bit. Wow.
It's in there.
Thank you so much. It seems to be just a small patch. A little bit of fog, so we're gonna brave through that.
Spa.
Right. There you go. That's very good. 195 points. Very nice.
Fair landing.
Mm-hmm. James, where are you from? Where are you located?
I'm in Oregon.
Okay. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you. Very good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Morning to you, John.
Greg, we've also got James on channel with us now, just as a matter of interest.
Hi, James. Nice to meet you.
Good morning, Craig. Nice to meet you too.
Pleasure, sir.
Paul, I would not like to do a forced landing in this area. It's literally in the middle of nowhere and it does not look flat. So you're gonna have a hop, skip and a jump somewhere there. Ja, Ryan, dankie. Maar hierdie is nie explain nie hoor. Hierdie is P3D net so vir interessantheid. I have to find P3D because that's where I own all the sceneries and Orbx has not converted all of the sceneries to explain yet, so that's why I'm doing it in P3D. Yep. Yeah, explain 11 and Ziba. Right, those two go together. I was reading on various forums yesterday that the guys were talking about PMDG bringing out the NG3 and everybody's speculating on what that means. Hopefully it will be a major upgrade to the 737-800 that got, or it might even contain a max portion, or max would be extra or something. But if there's one thing that I really struggle to do with P3D is fly the NGX. I really can't anymore. I do it now and then, but it kills me every time. I'm just not used to it anymore. Yeah, Paul, this almost looks like the moon. If it wasn't for the little green shrubs here and there, you would think you're on the moon. Guys, I think I'm gonna go make myself some coffee. If I look
There's
at
nothing wrong with that.
if I look at our elevation profile, it's gonna take a wee while before we get to this little monster where we might have to climb slightly, even though it seems we okay. Seems we're okay. We can manage that still. And we're gonna have to when we are in this area over here, we're going to have to make a plan to start to climb to at least 14.5. That's the lowest minimum safe altitude to cross. So see if this little bird can manage it. Otherwise, we're gonna have to go around somewhere there. We'll see. But I'm gonna go get some coffee. Sorry, James.
I was just wondering if you can make the map larger on the screen when you're.
I can do that. Where's that thing? Like so.
Okay, there I can see it now with the delay.
Yes. Yeah. Right. So what I'm gonna do is let's actually just make it a little bit larger. I'm gonna activate my AFK notice quickly, and then when I come back, we'll reduce it slightly again. Maybe I can even figure out how to just extract the map section. If we can get rid of the vertical section and that blank spot on the side, we can make it smaller but still have it big enough to read. Okay, we'll see what we can do when we get there. Just now. Let me go just grab my
Thanks,
coffee.
Nico.
Okay.
Mic off. Mic on.
Hey guys, I am back. Good
He's
morning.
back, guys. He's back.
Good morning, Kappa. Just noticed you here. That's my VFR flight plan, yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Let me see if I can change the display here.
I'll be with you again, Nico, once I'm airborne.
No worries, no worries. I think I messed it up now. Not sure. Looks like you can separate the map. Let's close that one. No. Oh, this little nav map for some reason is very slow to respond to anything I want it to do. Here you go. I hope that helps. See me a little bit.
Yeah, that looks much better.
It about sums it up. Okay, Paul B. Now you've got me curious. What did you know? What is this I knew it all about? By the way, I hope you guys have got some coffee because this is a long flight. Coffee and snacks would do very good now. Yeah, you'll have to get some. So 6 messages up. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yes. I was just about to ask that, John. I suppose you on your next leg, right?
I'm just
Mic
setting up
off.
now. I'm in where am I? Malta. And Malta back to Manchester.
Mic on.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Got it. Got it. I understand. Well, my coffee is wonderful, I tell you. Really glad I went to make that.
Yeah, I need a refresh once I've sorted this out.
At least you got the weather on your side today, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. Bit of a bump there, but it's all good. I'm not sure how many of you guys have watched some of the previous P3DGA videos in this tour, but I've mentioned it a few times now. I don't know whether it's Active Sky or whether it's P3D, but in updating both, the last updates, probably combined, has changed the flight dynamics quite considerably in P3D. It's a really brought life to P3D. It feels much more closer to X-Plane now. So FYI, just for your information, I really enjoy it now. It's like you can see this movement, you can feel this movement. Unlike before, that was kind of more static.
Nico, is that something they planned?
I'm not sure. James, I think there's been a lot of resistance from the community towards P3D. There's been a lot of guys jumping ship, going over to X-Plane, seeing what the difference is and then not wanting to come back. So I think in my mind's view, there was pressure on P3D to make changes. There's got to be. You can't just think you've got the monopoly and then just steam forward. You've got to consider what the competition is doing. And like I said, I'm not sure if it's Lockheed Martin who made the changes or whether it's the Hi-Fi Sim guys, but in combination, I can tell you one thing. It's a totally different ballgame on this latest version of both these products. It's definitely something major has changed.
So nothing was released saying one way or the other. It's just something that you noticed.
It's something that I noticed. Look, I get bored reading the very extensive changelog that Lockheed Martin publishes. If one of you guys have got more time and guts for that, please by all means go read it and come back and tell us if they made note somewhere. The same goes for Hi-Fi Simulation and Active Sky. I'm pretty sure they would have mentioned it somewhere, but in this instance I was too lazy to read the whole thing, both sides. So I don't know. I really don't know. Paul, I've asked a couple of my buddies who know about high altitude landings and stuff. They don't seem to suggest or think that it's anything other than just my skill. They basically say that I just need to go and practice to land. Now what we did on stream here is obviously it did a lot of practicing. I find that I can land this aircraft no matter what altitude we land at. I land it much easier on if it's not full flaps. It's one notch before full flaps, so call that approach flaps or whatever you want to call that. It just lands much easier. There's no bouncing. Whereas for some silly reason, and I'm not sure if it's controller related or reaction related from my side or what it is, it's just much more difficult to land when it's full flaps. So I just don't use full flaps in this aircraft, and then I don't bounce that badly. I've spent a whole day on controller sensitivity and doing circuits with this aircraft. I cannot find a sweet spot. maybe one day when I've got another day to spare, I'll look at trying to get another sweet spot pull. But at this point in time, I'm flying it as is, and I'm just not landing full flaps. I've just realized that my flight widgets are not enabled at the top, so I've just enabled them for you guys as well. And that actually gives us an ETA. 10:59, well, 1100 Zulu. What's the time now? About an hour and a half to go. Ah, okay. Paul, it is, but then you've got the wind portion, and you've got to also take the wind into consideration. And I think the combination of wind and high altitude made it difficult the last time to land there at Big Bear. So we'll see when we get to this Eagle County. Let's see if we get some info on that. I don't know why little nav map is so slow to react to me. Come now. Airport elevation 6,720 feet, so it's a little bit lower than the Big Bear one, but it's still high. We'll see when we get there. We'll see what happens.
If I remember right, it's kind of in the valley, in between the canyon.
One way to find out. So let's have a zoom in there quickly. Let's have a look. Yep, definitely. It's like next to that river over there. See if we can get a better map.
Mic off. Mic
Bye.
on.
Pool B, that's easier said than done, my friend. I shall obviously try again and we can practice again and all those nice things, but the trick is going to be to find the time to actually do this. Maybe this is what we're looking at. Oh no, it just needs to download the updates. SnapCloud, I downloaded Swift, but when I enter EM, for example, and go to online, SnapCloud, that's actually very easy. During the installation of Swift, you need to install the Bluebell clients for the CSLs. One of the files is actually called the elevation correction file, and you need to update your Bluebell CSLs with that file, and then all your aircraft will be on the same level. But I suggest to find a YouTube video to explain that portion of the installation to you, because without that you will have the floating effect. Okay, so if I look at the situation, you are actually correct, James. I mean, that airport is very definitely like in a valley. It's a pity they don't give us the large contrast on the map now, but you can clearly see there's like these ridges, mountains, whatever, and then that goes and sits right next to the water there by the river. I cannot remember which is the default map, so a cloud. Yeah, a storm is coming. There you go. Woo! We spoke too soon. Look, it's making babies. Look, look, look.
Good thing I had my microphone off. I was laughing so hard.
What's a stream without some fun? I mean, it's gonna be boring. I have to make some jokes sometime.
I told you I'd come here for the entertainment.
You did.
So, like I was saying earlier, I was in Glenwood Springs 2 weeks ago. My sister actually lives in Grand Junction, so we went up to Glenwood Springs to go up to the Grand Caverns. And Eagle Airport is about 25-mile drive or so down the road.
Okay.
Okay. So Glenwood, the canyons is to the west, and Eagle is just on. Well, it's kind of part of it, but it's just on the outside. It's a beautiful area.
I can imagine. I can just imagine.
And now we all get to fly right in with all that beautiful scenery. So this is a great flight.
Yeah, I think so too. I can't wait to get to those mountains and have a look around there. Yeah, Space Invaders. I tell you what, I will use my superpowers from my prop there in front, and we will go and rip them to shreds. You know, go through them, just cut them into pieces. I suppose this is that little hill that we saw on the elevation map earlier, because it's like the only one here in the area, and then this valley and then some more hills. So I suppose this was the high one, the first high one. Look at the updraft. How that nose all of a sudden just lifted. These guys must really be clever to actually create these programs and to work, you know, to let them work together and give us this awesome simulation. I'm talking, you know, in simulation in general, that includes X-Plane. The guys must really be clever.
It's a massive undertaking, I can imagine. Just massive.
Yeah. True, Paul. Very true.
It'd be nice to be at Flight Expo and just get a chance to sit down and chat with them this weekend.
It would have been nice, definitely. I'm just sitting here thinking, can you imagine 200 years ago, the guys coming from the East Coast, trekking through this desert, semi-desert area, trying to get to the other side of the continent? Can you imagine what it must be like with horses and a ox wagon trying to get through this area?
Yeah, on top of that, not really knowing where you're going.
Yeah, just going in faith, you know, just pick a direction and go.
Yeah, the sun sets over there. We're going that way.
I see Los Alamos is here on our right hand side, Santa Fe, Los Alamos. Interesting. Now we're getting some geography lessons as well. Hey John, welcome back.
Thank you. On the climb to the cruise.
Awesome. Yorkie, you're welcome. Enjoy. Thanks for dropping in. I'm going to be here another hour and a half, so if you get a chance to come back, anytime, buddy, anytime.
I'm going to be about 3.5 hours.
Okay. Guys, if any of you on the stream do not have little nav map, and if you are a GA flyer, I would highly recommend it. This thing is just mind-boggling as well, with what you can do with it. You can actually convert your flight plans. You can save it as Garmin flight plans. You can do a whole bunch of things with this. It's amazing, this little, and it's free little program. So make a plan there and grab yourself a copy if you want to know more about it. You can do your SIDS and stars. You can do your IFR stuff with it as well. But I obviously use Navigraph and so on. But yeah, it's very, very nice program.
What's it called?
Little nav map. Let me get you guys a link.
Thank you.
Paul, they actually did. Yes, they did. Yeah, we left the Brits in Cape Town, and then we tracked all the way to Joburg, and then they followed us. Yeah, it happened this side as well. We call it the groot track, the big track. So it happened. There's the link to Little Nav Map, guys. It's in the chat there. So, like I said, it's free. And it's wonderful. It's a marvelous little thing. You also update the AIRAC with your Navigraph subscription. So you've got the same waypoints, same airways, set stars, everything. It's amazing what you can do with this.
I assume this is part of your long trek, is it, Nico?
Yes, sir. In the whole flight plan, there is, I think, 4 or 5 legs that are extremely long. And then you've got like 20 that are maybe half an hour, if even. You know, it's up and down all the time. So you get a bit of both, long hauls, short hauls.
And
and
this
some.
is one of the longer ones.
Yeah, one of the longer ones. I haven't checked lately, as in this morning. But one of the routes I actually broke up into two pieces. As a matter of interest, this is Las Vegas over here. Yeah, click there. Right here at the bottom where the mouse is moving, bottom left of the map. What we, I think it's actually the next leg. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna fly to Las Vegas, and we'll break the leg over there because I think it was like 600 miles or something to get from Eagle Canyon to the next stop somewhere down at the bottom here, which is difficult. You know, I don't want to sit.
That's a long, long leg for
Yeah,
that aircraft.
yeah, I don't want to sit here all day just for that. So I'll probably, I think it's the next leg. We'll do Eagle Canyon to Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is the only non-Orbx airport that we will stop at just for the sake of breaking the leg distance. Because, I mean, the next one is here by the coast somewhere. I hate it when it pops up like that, but it's somewhere at the coast. So we're gonna park over there at the next leg and just call it quits for that one. But it's only non-Orbx leg.
Is there refilling that needs to be done in between there? Or is that
Um,
short enough?
we can actually do with the Cessna. We can actually do the leg in one hop. It's not necessary to do a refill. But when we look at real world versus simulation, I've also got a family, you know, and it's nice of them to allow me to sit here for 2-3 hours at a time. But I don't want to sit here for 6 hours out of my Sunday, you know, to do that. And also because I'm recording the streams for posterity and for my own sake, you know, I don't want it to be that long. I don't want it to be, you know, overpowering and daunting for anybody else who wants to watch it with me, kind of a thing, you know, enjoy it with me. I hope it makes sense what I'm trying to say. You know, I had to draw a line somewhere between what's practically doable and whatnot.
Plus a
Oh,
balance
absolutely.
with your family.
Sorry, guys, try again.
Plus a balance with your family.
Well, that's it mainly, yes.
Yeah, and I was just saying that. Yeah, that makes sense. I was just curious
Mm.
on the aircraft itself.
Yeah, no, the aircraft itself, as far as I know, has got a range of 1,200 nautical miles, something like that. So it's quite capable of taking us places. But the question is, do we want to sit that long, you know? Don't know why they would include like a photoreal patch like that somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, there it is. Paul, yeah. Yeah, look, I can tell you lots of stories. All depends on the audience if they want to listen. But check the movement in this aircraft. It's just not. It's not driving on rails, hey John. This thing is actually moving now with the weather, up and down and shaking. It's nice when it's
Yeah, I
got
can see
life.
it.
Paul, I probably can. Afrikaans and Flemish is very, very similar. I like to watch BVN on our satellite TV, so I sit and I listen to them quite a lot. What I have found in practice is they struggle to understand me, even though I can understand them. When I speak Afrikaans, they pick up on certain words, but because I don't put the r and the brr in the right place, they tend to not follow me. So I speak English to them, but they can speak Flemish to me. That's easy enough to understand. And to read it is just as easy. Normal Dutch as well. It's when you get to the Hoog-Hollands, I can't understand that thing. It doesn't make sense to me at all. It's like German. I can understand quite a bit of German, but the dialect that they speak in Switzerland is also, it's like, huh? Can't do that. Kind of different.
I agree with you, Nico. I spent time in Denmark, and understanding Danish and speaking it are two totally different things.
It's the same with any language. I can understand quite a bit of a lot of things, especially when I'm in the context. You know, when I understand the context and then you can follow stuff. But to speak it back, to talk back, that's always the challenge. Even in South Africa, I mean, we've got 11 official languages. I understand quite a bit of the black languages, but I can't speak it back. You know, I can greet them and I can, follow them, but I can't have a conversation in their languages. It doesn't work for me.
That's why I fell into computer science. So linguistics was a little bit difficult for me, speaking wise. But languages, computer programming languages are very similar.
I think I also understand computers easier because there's more logic to it. When you have to talk about tenses and past tense and future tense and a verb and what have you, I go, what are you talking about? Leave me alone. That sounds bad.
So
Paul, yeah. We need guys like you as well, my friend. We definitely do. Well, I would say that's about halfway for us now. Can you believe it? What a trip. Farmington. Oh, that's an original name for the farmer's little town. Yeah, I also watched Vikings. I never watched the last one or two series, but it was cool. I don't know if you saw that. I also watched those guys arrive there in Britain and wreak havoc. Interesting. Marius? Yeah, I could have done the same. I could have used a faster aircraft and all, but I chose the 182 for a couple of reasons. I also made the investment in it and haven't really used it, number one, so it's nice to use it actually. And then number two, I've got the GTN 750 in it already. When I did this tour coming north to south last year, I did it in the Cirrus SR22. And I just thought I don't want to go into a Cirrus again. And I started looking at my options. I didn't particularly want to go and buy a jet as such, something. And then obviously some of these strips are like little farm strips. You know, so you've got to understand if you want to visit each one of the fields that I own, You can't do that in a Cirrus jet or any other jet, Phenom, whatever. It's got to be something that can do short fields as well, or semi-short fields and rough fields and things. And this is where the 182 won. Hello, Miles. Good morning. Did I touch something? Did I change something? Hold on, what's happening here? Yeah, I did. Oops. Oops. Glad I saw that. Don't know what I touched, but I touched something.
Loads of typing going on.
I'm speaking to Tom.
I do apologise.
No, why apologize? No, you're welcome. I'll mute my mic quickly.
The
Mic
link
off.
for Discord is in the description.
Mic on.
Right, so I've done so much typing and my attention was somewhere else. We're gonna have to start the climb here now. We're really gonna have to start to see what this bird can do.
So
Sorry, James.
I was just gonna ask a question. So the autopilot on this doesn't adjust for. It's all manual on vertical.
Yeah, you need to specify the vertical speed. So you can set the heading to follow heading or navigation for the GPS. You've got your approach scores, so you can do an ILS, Cat 1, and then you've got the altitude. You set up your altitude, then you arm it, and then you have to specify the vertical speed at which it needs to climb. And then it's up to you to manage the energy, because if you don't manage the energy, you're obviously going to stall. My biggest concern right now is that this aircraft is going to run out of energy, and it might actually not make 14,500 foot. I'm trying to work with a mixture here to make sure that we lean it out good enough. But if I need to grab the stick quickly and fly around a mountain top, we'll have to do that. Because if you look in the distance now, you'll see the mountain's actually peeking out from the mist. You know, it's high. Our minimum safe altitude that we have here is, I think, 13.5, which means we need to cross at about 14.5 to do it legally. Now, we're not doing much legal in this sim, but you know, we also want to try and make a good show of it, you know.
What's the capabilities of the plane?
As far as I know, it should be able to do 18,000. In the real world, the 182s that I know actually do 18,000 easy. But I've never tried it in the A2A, so I'll have to see. We'll see now.
With little oxygen masks, I assume.
Yeah, or those, I don't know what you call it. You get those ones feeding directly into your nose, you know, so 2 little tips that goes into your nose.
Have you seen that, Nico? Paul B, 44 miles away from me.
Oh, no. No. I'll attend to that just now. I'm just finishing with Tom quickly.
Do apologise.
There's no need to apologise. Right, let's go and look at all these messages now. Okay, 44 miles, that's interesting. Plus, drone. Yeah, nice, nice. So here on the GPWS, we've got some terrain, some concern. We'll see. We're at 13,000 now, so if we can just make 13.5, I know we should be okay, but we just don't tell the FAA. True, Paul. So we're coming up very quickly. Also not a place I want to get stuck at now. This is definitely not a good place to try and find an emergency landing spot. I'll put the map up shortly again. Just want to show you guys what I see. Almost 13.5. We're going to try for 14. I see we've still got a bit of energy left, so we'll let it go as far as it can. Amazing how nice it is to fly, you know, when you've got the right equipment, when you can see the terrain, and when you've got the proper GPS. Just makes life so much easier.
Yeah, good thing it's not 1935 in a DC-3.
Oh yeah. Look at the wind. Look how the wind's moving us. It's so awesome. No, I didn't see any of those planes, Paul.
only saw it on YouTube.
Those are some nice big hills, eh? I mean, really, wow. Some cool stuff. It must be so spectacular to fly here in real world. It's not funny. It must be awesome. By the way, before anybody mentions anything, I'm only using 14.5 as I'm scared of the capabilities of the aircraft. Legally and in real world, you would have gone 15.5 because we're flying east. I'm just not gonna waste more time trying to climb another 1,000 foot just to be in brackets legal. So that's my disclaimer, guys.
It's a better view of 14.5.
Yeah, it's good enough for us. We'll make it now. So there's the map again, and you can see we are right on the red line, you know, minimum safe altitude. So we're okay. We're gonna make it now. People are funny. I'm reading some of the comments here on the Ziba group. It's funny.
I love the spelling. I do sometimes. It blows me away.
Well, I'm keeping on having to go back and check my spelling because I drop the H now every time, and I have to go back and type the H manually
Yeah,
until
but
it
that's
takes
not
it.
spelling. That's a problem with the keyboard.
I
There's
know,
there's a
I know,
difference.
I know. I'm not really comparing it. I'm just telling what's happening to me. And I have to continuously go back now and fix the freaking spelling. This mixture doesn't budge now. It's like it's had enough.
This would be scaring the hell out of me. One of them sick in case you get an engine failure. Nowhere to go.
Well, that's why if I buy an aircraft in real world for myself, it will probably be a little Cirrus with the caps, where you've got the parachute, so you can at least have that as a backup. Otherwise, I'll just buy a twin engine. Yeah, buy yourself some time to get over the mountains.
That's probably the better option. I mean, you've got more a fighting chance if one goes out.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's back to my training, but as you're flying, I'm looking all over the place. Where could he go if he got an engine out?
Yeah, that's all part of what we do. That technique saved a friend of mine many years ago in Namibia. He was still looking around where he could go, and he noticed there was like a farm strip, just off to his one side. I can't remember which side it was. And he said within about 10 seconds of looking up, he struck an eagle. And I was at that plane. I saw what it looked like. It stank like hell. And that whole windscreen was shattered. The oak was hit real hard himself. I mean, he had to make an emergency landing very, very quick. And if you don't have that habit to look around for places to land, just a stupid thing like flying into an eagle can kill you.
Trust me, every time I flew, that once I'm airborne, that's where my concentration was.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong, where can I go? Including motorways and beaches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Beaches are a bit dangerous. I mean, I'll take it if that's the only option, but your wheels can get stuck. Well, yeah, of course. But the highway is still my first option if I have to teach. If we compare those three places. First prize would be not to teach because the aircraft doesn't have a problem, but you know what I mean.
And know your glide capability as well.
Mm-hmm. This is actually pretty nice weather for this flight. So round about there where that green circle is, there's another big hill, but it looks like we're going to pass it on the right hand side. It will be on our left. And that's about the home stretch from there on. We're almost there. Well, there's a lake. At least you won't die of thirst. There's a little farming community there as well. And a strip to land. Wow, this thing is talking about another 45 minutes. Can it be? I'm thinking that's not right.
Well, at some point I have to, whether I like it or not, pop out and get some veg for my dinner.
No, that's fine. It can't be another 45 minutes. I can't see that, but let's see. See what it does. Well, guys, while it's a bit quiet, I'm gonna go grab something to eat and drink, and then we'll probably just land there after. I'm gonna put on the AFK notice again, and I'll be back just now.
Enjoy. Okay.
Mic off.
I'll keep you updated if you wish, Paul, and let you know when the next meet. As soon as I know, I'll let you know. Pleasure. We find that quite amusing, to be honest, Paul. Clearly Nico is back. Some movement there. Sorry, Paul, I don't quite understand the question. Which updates and why would it make flying more difficult? I'm obviously out of the loop here. Something must have already been said. With regards to the last flight that I think you're on about, no, it was quite funny actually. He had a major thunderstorm, and in normal circumstances you would have gone round it or above it, and he decided to go through it. He got away with the first bit, but not the second bit. It literally destroyed the aircraft basically.
Mic on.
I just had to finish chewing there. I don't like to chew on stream.
Not a problem. I was just speaking to Paul, and I'm assuming he was referring to that flight with the thunderstorm.
Yeah, that's the one thing. In terms of the update that made flying more difficult, I'm not sure if he's talking about P3D or if he's talking about Zibo. So Paul, you just need to tell us which one you're talking about. Because both of them had updates, and I discussed both of them earlier, so it's difficult to see or to understand which one. Oh.
Well, with regards to that, Paul, we can all only speak from our own personal experience. I did a flight in this morning with the latest update. No issues whatsoever.
Paul, my 2 cents is that there's 2 components. There's obviously the user, and the user is normally a typical flight simmer, which means that the guy never had proper training as to how to use the Boeing. He's never really read the manual. He doesn't exactly know what the procedures are. He enjoys himself. He gets in, does his thing, takeoffs, lands, walk away, get the good feeling in his heart, you know, all the butterflies and everything. But it's not procedure based. So what's happening with the Zibo is with every update, Zibo makes it more realistic. He takes away the flight simming shortcuts, and I'm keeping an eye on that little pinnacle sticking out from my nose there. That looks scary. So anyway, coming back to Zibo, what now happens? Ooh, now the sim is frozen. No man. If it bombs out now, I'm gonna cry. Oh, there we go. So what happens is the ordinary simmer has obviously got certain bad habits that he's formed over many years, and he was happy up until one of these updates now arrives and bites him and bites his procedures. And no, you didn't. No, don't worry, you didn't jinx it. So,
He's convinced he jinxes it.
well, let him believe that if he wants to, but I know it's not. So the bottom line is the guys obviously don't know how to fly the Boeing the proper way, and then what happens is it bites them. And then they say it's a bug or it's broken or whatever the situation is. Instead of educating themselves and making something better of themselves, it's just easier to blame shift. you know, and this is where we're at with the Zebo. I fly this thing multiple times a day or in a week, depending on the situation. I mean, in the last 2 days, I've spent more than 10 hours in the Zebo, between Friday and Saturday. So I don't have any issues. But then again, I write the manuals, I make the checklists, so I obviously know how to use it and how to use it properly. Whereas the other guys might or might not. You know, they might be lazy, they might just forget something, whatever. And this is what makes it difficult, because Zebo makes it more and more realistic with every update. And the guys, I said this morning on the group, the guys are going to have to start adjusting their procedures to fall in line with the way a real Boeing works now, because this is a real Boeing compared to other flight sim models, you know, that are just flight sim models. Right, and we're nearing our top of descent there, so I'm going to start to get myself ready and in position here, seats upright and all those things, and then we can look at descending a bit. Right, we'll just go over this ridge and then we'll start our descent. Well, I can start from the beginning, Paul. Typically, in the other simulations, you can use the airport coordinates to align your IRS. In the Zebo, it works like in the real world. You've got a 3.5 nautical mile or a 4.5 nautical mile radius limit from the airport center to where you stand, where you can do an IRS alignment. And this is actually in the Zebo. So what you'll find is if you go to Schiphol or one of these huge ass Atlanta whatever airports, when you stand on the one side of the airport, you cannot align the IRS because the coordinates are out of bounds. Okay. When you want to align your IRS, you need to use your GPS left. That's the standard. All right. It's in the operations manual. You can read it. That's what Boeing says you need to do. And the guys don't know about this. This is the first thing. The second thing is the guys don't know what the assumed temperature is and what to do with the assumed temperature. So typically what's happening right now is they are literally burning the engines out because they give full thrust and they hold on to the rodeo horse, you know, hope for the best. One does not fly a Boeing with full thrust, ever. It doesn't work that way. The engines will never manage. It will die. We did a test, me and Cody, the other day, and he timed it for us 3 minutes from the moment you give full thrust until the engines die. That's how fast it burns out. So you need to understand assumed temperature. You need to understand what the outside temperature does. If you don't use those two things in conjunction, you will never get your flaps speed. These kind of things, the stuff that I've mentioned now, has never been modeled to this level of realism. Never. In any simulator, in any simulator model, it's just never been modeled. So the simulator guys, the flight sim pilots, are now busy showing, you know, their lack of skill, their lack of understanding of what the real aircraft is and what it does and what it's capable of doing, you know, just by saying, "Ooh, I blew my engines," you know. And the sad fact of the matter is the guys then, instead of learning how to do it properly, then go and blame shift and say there's a problem with the aircraft. Well, not all of them do, I must be honest, just some of them do, but they do. I hope that answers your question.
I'd like to add to anything. Guys have to understand that your flying is only going to be as good as A, the amount of studying you've done, how much you understand about flying, and the instruction or any instruction that you've received.
And then practice. You can't expect to not practice. You know, you have to.
Of course you do, and especially with regards to landings. I mean, landings are the be all and everything of flying, and it's the most exciting part of the flight
Mm,
when you're
mm,
coming into land, that you do a nice decent landing,
mm-hmm.
not heavy, but a good landing, and be pleased and keep it down the centre line. Not always possible. You need rudder control, so there's a lot of things that you've got to be thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things that I personally feel is most people don't understand the fact that the air is a fluid. And when you start understanding that and start looking at the weather conditions, people don't put enough thought into weather conditions. It's the weather conditions that are going to dictate what sort of flight you've got. And all this is theory that most of the flight simmers never ever get to. And it's so important that they need some instruction in that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And this is also something, Paul, that I'm gonna share with you guys just now. I've created a new Facebook page where we want to concentrate on training people. It's not a technical support site. The old Facebook page will remain in place, but we're going to use the new one for all the flights and the flight training and the next level stuff. So what I want to do is I want to separate the guys struggling with the technical issues from the guys who actually have passed the technical issues and who are now flying and want to better themselves. So that's my next mission in life.
Glad you agree, Paul. I certainly do.
Yeah. There's a lot of friction between the guys who can and the guys who cannot. And I've watched a lot of fights. I've broken up a lot of fights. I have warned a lot of guys not to fight, because everybody's on different proficiency levels. But the guys who are still struggling to install the Zebo blows my mind, because how do you expect to fly such an advanced simulation machine if you can't even install the flipping thing, if you can't even read the manual to just do that? How are you going to read the operations manual? How are you going to read the checklist? How are you going to, file a flight plan if you don't even want to read the installation instructions? If it's too much for you to just read a pinned post, then you shouldn't really be thinking of flying a Boeing. And that creates a lot of friction. I want to get past that. I want to be in an area where the guys have settled, they've achieved something already in life, and they're ready to go to the next step.
So they've got missing information, and it'll be a source where you can find that information.
Mm-hmm.
It does amaze me the amount of people that are not prepared to read a document. I mean, Nico, in my mind, has provided so much information on the other site to assist people, but they still can't be bothered to actually go and have a look.
Well, there was a guy this morning who blatantly said in his statement, "I'm too lazy." And if you're too lazy, why must I exert myself?
If he's too lazy, you're not interested in him, because
Exactly.
he's just going to be a pain in your backside.
Exactly. So the question is still, why must I exert myself, but he doesn't want to? He doesn't want to break a sweat, but I have to. That's not fair.
Hi, Norman.
Hey, Norman.
Which announcement?
Tom probably said something. I haven't looked at anything yet.
I've just gone there and I can't see anything. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
I'm gonna take this little rift here, this thing leading to the valley, to get down. I don't even know who Jose is. I've seen his name once or twice. Okay, oh, well, congratulations.
Are we on stream?
Yeah, we are. Right, I need to concentrate on my flight. I'll go chirp in there just now. Ooh, there's an airport down there. I think that's our baby. That's where we need to go. Let's quickly look at the weather. What is our weather doing? Oh, no weather, so we can actually fly any which way. Alright, cool. Going to take the little nav map off the screen now so we can actually see. It's a pleasure, Normand. I'm not done yet, not by a long shot. I'm also not leaving that group, so I'll still be there in the background. But I'm going to concentrate more on flight training the guys with Zebo, and also my channels on YouTube and Twitch. I want to see how can we plan this approach now, because that still seems a bit high. We still seem a bit high, so let's maybe just oof, and you can't descend like that, not in a Cessna. No, man. Concentrate, brother, concentrate. It's gonna fly out a bit wide and then come back. Oh, we're still high. What's the altitude? 6,500, so we need to come down to 8,500 for circuit altitude. Wow. But it looks lovely. Very beautiful. I can just imagine the peace and the tranquility in this area. Wow.
Sync pull up.
Norman, that's one of the things we're going to look at is video training. We're going to look at quite a few different things. I had to untie my hands to think about the rest. I haven't finalized anything. I've spoken to a few real world 737 type rated pilots. The one guy is a very accomplished instructor as well, not just a pilot and not just a first officer. So I want to see how these guys can fit in, but I couldn't do anything while my hands were tied. So from now on, it might take a wee while to get going, but the whole plan is to get into the training mode where we can do proper training with the guys.
Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead.
I'm not sure where this airport is. I'm still looking. There seems to be a runway over there. Alright, well, let's see if we can actually land it without bouncing too many times. Awesome,
Well done,
Morris.
Marius.
Going to land myself just now.
500.
That's one thing I'm missing P3D is there's no road traffic. I mean, look at that beautiful road below us and there's no traffic.
Butter, 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 butter.
Yeah, I'm trying. Do you know this aircraft? It's not the easiest one. And you see, I get close and then I pull harshly. There we go. Much better. Much better. Just have to get control of the thing, you know, and then it's all fine.
9 out of 10.
Thank you so much.
I don't give 10s.
I'll bribe you with a nice big slab of dark chocolate.
Or ice cream.
Okay. Well, guys, welcome to Eagle County. First time ever I've flown into this place. Not for a lack of interest, but just never done it. Yeah, and I must be honest with you, the the combination of the actual controller setup and my reactions is it's just not what it should be, and I can't find the sweet spot. I've tried what A2A recommend, I've tried what other guys recommend. For me on my system it just doesn't work, so I'm kind of stuck with that, so I'll make the best of what I can. Dankie George. At least the runway is long. We can do stupid things like float.
I think half the problem is the controls that we have to work with. They're
Yeah,
not precise.
they're not precise. There's no feedback. You don't know how hard you need to pull it or push it, and you're guessing, and that makes it hard. You know what? I'm just gonna park right in front.
I would like. I'm almost tempted to take mine apart and soften the spring down.
Yeah, a lot of guys have done it, but I don't think this is a spring problem. I think this is a software versus hardware problem. The way it reads the pods in the simulator and the way the pods translate the movement, that somewhere there is like, it's just not nice. Let's go park at these gentlemen. They can wash the plane as well. Couple of them sitting there doing nothing.
It's just my thought that they, you need a tensioner that you can adjust.
Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. Yeah, exactly what you're saying. You see, now if you look at the actual controller setup, the tensioner is supposed to be your calibration, and it's supposed to
Yeah, but it
be,
doesn't work. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Not for me, it doesn't anyway.
yeah, I've played with the sensitivities and the null zones like nobody's business. What do you mean the Rockwell system? You mean the honeycomb? I read a review on it. Somebody was at the Flight Sim Con yesterday talking about it, and they had some comment about it. Apparently, between the Yoko yoke and the honeycomb, they were the guy did a comparison, and there was a lot of pros and cons both ways, as to why and why not, and who not. All these things are subject to your own experience and your own requirements. It's very difficult to decide for anybody else what you're going to accept as gospel. It's very difficult. I mean, other guys fly this plane and they land it properly and they get it to work properly. I'm struggling. And I know it's because I overreact. There, you can see how I pull at one point in time because it just feels like I'm coming in too fast. And instead of softening that pull, it actually pulls the nose quite hard. But anyway. All the Ailey's. Oh, this is a beautiful little airport.
I think it go, an awful lot amounts to what you said. You've got to practice, practice, practice. You're not only practicing the landings, but you're practicing using the equipment that you've got.
Exactly. Because I mean, if I look at my settings, I don't want to go in there again. If I look at it, it's like I've tried freaking everything. I don't know what else to try anymore, because in X-Plane it's easy. Everything on the left is the joystick, everything on the right is the augmentation. This thing just doesn't seem to work that way. P3D just works differently, just completely differently. But anyway, I'm not complaining. That was an awesome flight. I am dead tired now. I think I'm going to go grab a nice $100 burger here in the restaurant and then relax, and we'll do the next flight next week. I don't have the energy to do another one of these flights today.
And I shall go and do a bit of shopping, else I'm going to starve.
Yeah, now you go do what you need to do. And guys, thank you so much for watching, being here with us. Thank you for the good wishes. We shall talk again.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye, everybody.